Thank you.
You are being formed into a Swiftie.
No, that will never actually happen.
Don't be the anti-hero.
A couple years from now.
Wow, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
I'm the problem. It's me.
Pop Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Stay on target.
You can't handle the truth.
Stay on target.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
With great power comes great responsibility.
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Hey. Welcome to the podcast.
It's time again, folks.
We're joined
back.
by Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog here.
You don't know what you're talking about, Jake.
Pop, pop, pop,
Oh, it's
pop,
so
pop,
good.
pop, 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 pop. Everybody pop. No, nothing. No, okay.
No,
Welcome to Pop Culture Redemption. I'm Connor.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Jordan Summers, and I'm the happy middle between a Hallmark villain and a Bond villain.
Where does that put you?
Kermit the Frog.
Like, do you have a fish tank? Do
No
you
comment.
own an oil company?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. It's essential oils.
Nice.
I just want the non-essential oils. Do those come at a discount or?
No, that was only during COVID.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Shots fired.
What they used instead of
they
toilet
closed
paper.
all the places that sold this non-essential oils. McDonald's and
Oh.
Okay, anyways, we are Pop Culture Redemption, and we are a handlebar short of a tricycle to nowhere.
Facts.
Facts.
that's the soundtrack for the handlebar for the tricycle. Going to nowhere.
I
Anyways.
thought you were going to like old YouTube. I can ride my bike with no handlebars. You know that one?
No handlebars.
No?
No
Oh,
handlebars.
dude. So good. I'm showing you
When I
after the
think
recording.
about old YouTube songs that involve bikes, my mind does not go to a good place.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We can unpack this if you want.
Later, not
Okay.
on the podcast.
All right.
If you know, you know.
Transitions are awkward. So we're going into housekeeping. Again, well, if you're tuning in with us today, congratulations. You found us. We're so glad you're here. You can follow the podcast wherever, however, and whyever you get your podcasts. You can definitely check out our YouTube channel. Fun fact, we recently had a short that got over 3,000 views.
What?
Another one that
That's
got
crazy.
almost 3,000 views. So we're pretty excited about that. We're not exactly sure how that happens, but we'll take it. And we're happy about it.
Also, did you guys notice we have 300 plays total now?
On
I
what?
did notice
podcast?
that on
On
Spotify.
Between
Spotify?
Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Wow. That is so exciting.
And we have 1% of our listeners from Mexico and Germany and the UK.
Well, there you go. Who knew we
Sweet.
were a worldwide podcast? It's very exciting. We also have some exciting news. By the time you're listening to this episode, we will have social media presence.
What? Nice.
Socials. So thank you again for filling out our Spotify polls on our Spotify podcast stuff
Spotify.
to let us know that you're interested in having us on Instagram. So we will be coming to Instagram by the time you hear this podcast.
We'll be coming to an Instagram near you.
to an Instagram near you.
You can tell how bad we are at social media by seeing that we had to ask you, and that is what got us on Instagram.
Nice.
That's right. I'm like, this means I'm going to have to actually get an Instagram account.
Bummer.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to figure out how to use Instagram.
Just
Anyways,
take,
we look
just
forward to
take
that.
pictures of every meal you ever eat.
Oh,
You could be that guy.
so it would have been Freddy's tonight.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good,
You
yeah.
could be that guy.
Presentation, probably isn't the best, but it's still good. It's very good. And this podcast, we are looking at Hallmark movies. So we're very excited to jump into that. Again, the 4 Tuesdays in December, we are hitting you with a different Christmas movie or episode each week. So last week we did Elf. This week we're doing Hallmark. Next week we'll be looking at Christmas Vacation. And the week after that is Christmas. And the day after Christmas we will be looking at A Christmas Story. So the one with, that's right, You'll Shoot Your Eye Out, Kid. Yeah, that's the one we're hitting. So those are the things coming up. But this week, we are diving into Hallmark. Oh. And as you can tell by what Jacob just played, some of us might not be very excited to jump into this. But I'm pumped. This is going to be really good. So again, generally the three of us find ourselves probably a little more critical
negative
or
side.
negative bias towards Hallmark movies, which is one of the reasons we picked it. We thought, hey, this would be kind of a fun thing to look at for some of us. So again, some of you will probably hate us by the end of this.
Some of us probably already do.
Some of you, you love to listen to us because you hate us so much.
Yes.
Some of you will love us by the end of this, and some of you will just be in the middle. But we thought it would be valuable to invite someone to join the show who would generally have a more positive view of Hallmark. So, which leads us to welcoming our second guest ever of the show, Lizzie Caron.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Lizzie, welcome to the show. Oh, it was an abrupt. I forget that just abruptly is just like, shink.
Yeah, it's not the best.
It was
Like,
too much
it's
excitement.
coordinated, giant applause, and then off. Lizzie, do you mind introducing yourself a little bit? Tell us a little bit about yourself, Lizzie.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite, guys. Even though you don't like Hallmark, it's fine.
We forgive you for liking it.
Okay. Well, pray for your poor movie decisions.
That's going on a t-shirt.
See, this is why I don't make movie decisions. I let other people make the movie decisions for me.
Well, that's good. So I'm a pretty basic white girl. I love Jesus. I love the church, but I hate pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh, thank you.
I don't
Thank
like
you.
coffee, but
I don't either. Yes.
Yeah.
Another round of applause.
No. Not for the not liking coffee part.
Sorry to interrupt
That's
you.
not worth the clapping button.
No, that was all I got.
That's all you got?
Like, that's my funny joke.
Well, hey, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. As we told Priscilla on our Barbie episode a couple months ago, who's our first ever guest. Welcome to the Mojo Dojo Casa House.
Oh,
So
it's lovely.
thank you for being here. So the three of us, Jacob, Jordan, and I, as not normal Hallmark connoisseurs, I would say, have been assigned different Hallmark movie to watch by Jacob's wife, Priscilla, who we just mentioned, to inform our normal Rejoice, Reject, and Redeem format.
Wait,
And so,
what you're saying, each of us watched a different movie.
yeah, that's right.
Did we, though?
I watched All Saints Christmas, which came out in 2022. Jordan, I believe, watched Broadcasting Christmas
I sure did.
in 2016. And I didn't write your name down on here, Jacob, so I apologize for that. But
You didn't. If
you
you, didn't know my
watched
name, how do
Christmas
you
in
know
Rome.
my name?
It was just the Holy Spirit, I
Okay.
guess. Christmas in Rome, you watched that one.
I did.
You did. Awesome. And Lizzie apparently watched 5 Hallmark movies in one day.
In one day.
In one day. She thought we
Is
were
that
watching 5
above the
different
normal
ones.
or below the normal?
Like, for how I watch Hallmark movies?
For how much Hallmark movies you tend to consume during the Christmas season?
Like, for one day, that's a lot. Like, I was cleaning during parts of it. So, like, it was a whole, like, cleaning, organizing, whatever day. So I thought we had a lot more to watch, so I started early. But it's good. They were good.
Yeah.
They were good
There you
times.
go.
Jake,
That's
do you think Priscilla picked this one for you because you think about Rome a lot? Do you think about the Roman Empire all the time?
No.
No?
Have you not seen that trend?
I don't understand
you-
that trend.
Do you know?
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking
Please
about.
explain this to
yeah.
me.
So this is
'Cause
going to
the
be
trend
like
is
your own little
what's your
short.
Roman Empire?
Well, yeah. So this is great. Okay, so guys, how often do you think of the Roman Empire? Like on a normal week or in a normal day? Like how many times?
Never.
Never.
Occasionally. I mean, like, whenever I read the Bible in
Yeah,
the New Testament,
okay.
like Paul, letters
Okay,
of Paul,
okay.
but not like directly.
Okay.
I'm not like, oh, Roman Empire. But
Are
I'm
you
like, oh, yeah,
are
this
you
is
trying
happening
to
in
tell me
Rome.
that people actively think about the Roman Empire on a daily basis?
Yes. Like normatively. Like there's whole videos of wives asking their husbands like, "Hey, when's the last time you thought about the Roman Empire?" And they're like, "Breakfast." Like, guys, the water systems.
The aqueducts.
The aqueducts.
Indoor plumbing.
Legions. Like their systems were awesome. It's great.
Fair points.
It's big times.
That's why I asked if you think Priscilla.
Okay, like I didn't know what you meant, but now I understand. Thank you, Lizzie.
You're welcome. This makes sense why you guys are still figuring out social media, though.
That's
like, you missed that whole trend.
I'm so glad I run my church's social media.
And you know what? That's why I thought, who better to start a pop culture redemption podcast than us? No.
Says the guy that's won the most uncultured swine titles out of the show so far.
That's right. I am the worst. But I've won 2 in a row. Which listen in next week because we'll go back at it again.
Dun,
Jacob, Next week. Okay. We are going into
This is great. We're doing great, guys.
Let's start with Rejoice. So here we go. We're just diving right in. We're not messing around. Rejoice. What do you rejoice about? Again, we're naming things that are good, excellent, praiseworthy, right? All these things. We're looking at the verse out of Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, right? Talking about what we should think about. So we want to look at these things within this context that we want to rejoice is good. So who wants to start us?
I can start.
Go for it, Jordan.
Bring it.
Got it really short
Pop
and sweet.
off.
Hallmark's popularity is evidence that our culture still desires good things, even if those desires are misplaced and or broken.
Right on.
Yeah.
That felt like a backhanded rejoice.
Really did.
That was like your good old fashioned, like grandma double-edged compliment.
Well, you know, I didn't expect you all to react so viscerally to that. Wow. You guys took that a lot harsher than I meant it to be.
It's great, except for it's not.
Well, no, it's good that like the culture is clearly still desiring good things, but the problem is that a lot of the times we tend to desire the right things and good things, oftentimes for the wrong reason, or we prioritize them over better things, over ultimate things.
That makes more sense than what I thought you were saying.
Yeah, no. I'm saying that I rejoice that culture is still has a desire for really good things, even if those things are prioritized in ways that aren't necessarily helpful to them, and that can be, and we'll get more into that. But it's just cool seeing like, oh,
That's good.
culture actually wants this.
Yeah.
Or at least there's like people in culture who do.
Well, especially because like I should probably check in with the Hallmark expert over here. I feel like a large part of Hallmark movies is that desire to feel loved. Like people still want that. That's an okay thing to want. Yeah, it's good.
There we go.
Awesome. Lizzie?
So I kind of have two. So I'll let somebody else go first in case they hit one of them.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
That is my strategy for the reject section.
It's a good strategy.
Nice.
Jacob, do you want to go? You want me to go?
I mean, I just have kind of like a little thing. So in Christmas in Rome, excuse me,
Oh, that was a good one.
it was okay. It was
We can
okay.
agree to disagree.
It was okay. So the beginning of this movie, like you have the of course the big businessman coming in from Italy to go buy out this other company, whatever, and happens to run into, the lead actress who was a recent formerly no longer a tour guide. Mm-hmm. And so what I kind of like just kind of made me smile, like people being willing to introduce themselves and get involved with people, with each other. Like easily. It just always brings a little bit of joy to my heart because I wasn't there, but there was this moment when my family got to go to New York City. It was really cool. And my go-to expectation of New Yorkers is being aggressive and like, get out of my way. Yeah, I'm walking here, like kind of deal. Yeah. And my dad and my sister happened to go to like a restaurant because they heard that it was a milkshake where they put a slice of cake on top of the freaking cup. Intense. But they just happened to, I guess, eavesdrop into the table behind them, which was two ladies that just happened to run into each other. They had no idea who each other was, but they were both at the place alone and decided to sit together and just get to know each other. So it just always makes me happy when people are willing to introduce themselves or just kind of put themselves out there and get to know new people.
Yeah.
That's good.
Which is why we do this podcast, to connect with you via Instagram soon.
Go back to our not the last episode, but which episode has the poll for the community? Is it the Pop community or is it the Pop-Tarts? Go find that episode and vote on that. Episode 11, go vote on that poll.
Yeah.
I think it should be the Kernels. And if that's the case, hit us up on Instagram and let us know. Anyway.
That's true.
We're going to give you as many names as we want.
We're just going to change the name every week.
Sounds great.
You mentioned that it made your heart happy. And speaking of happy hearts, the movie that I had Melissa Melissa, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Who was Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So
mine had a Gretchen from Mean Girls. That sounds pretty fetch.
Who did your Hallmark
That's just
movie
never
have?
going to happen.
I don't remember.
James
Trying to
Cameron?
make it
Not
I
James
didn't.
Cameron.
I didn't
Candace Cameron?
recognize anybody. No, I didn't recognize any of the cast. Doesn't mean that they weren't recognizable to other people. I'm just saying.
That's
to me,
not fetch.
No one. I wasn't like, oh, I'd seen them in stuff before, but not like big name people. But I might be wrong about that.
I think yours is a little bit older, so it's some of like older groups. No, okay.
Came out last year.
Oh, just kidding. I also
Nice.
didn't know them.
Nice. So it's just up and coming Hallmark actors and actresses.
Yeah.
Totally.
There we go. Sure. Yeah. I rejoice that in a world easily distracted by things of lesser value, that Hallmark highlights and focuses on the values of relationship, family, and love. And I think Hallmark's focus on the tension and restoration of relationships is something to absolutely celebrate about the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah.
So, yep, that's what I had. Because in in 1 Peter 4, it said like Apostle is writing, above all, love each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins.
It's like chocolate.
So I think that's obviously one of the main things that is attractive about the Hallmark Channel and Hallmark movies and these things to people is that focus. So yeah, I thought I was like, yeah, that's good. I think that's good.
Yeah. Okay, so I still kind of have two things. One of them's really fast though. So one of the things that's a consistent theme in a lot of them is most of the time in multiple characters, but especially the main lead, whoever that is, which oftentimes is a girl, but also sometimes a guy. Just saying. What? I know, it happens. Sometimes you get main character energy too. Sometimes. But is that the main person's talents that oftentimes haven't been addressed or acknowledged, like are really nurtured and encouraged? Because so often in like the world, it's like, oh, you have to go do this or whatever's efficient or effective versus it's like, okay, what are the gifts God has given you that you can use to encourage your community, like build in those pieces, which I love that part of Hallmark. But the other piece is it's clean entertainment, y'all. Like there's something just to rejoice about the fact that it's clean. Like even, and it just kind of makes me giggle, like, cause you guys are like, Hallmark's, and I'm like, I feel like the Hallmark genre is like the epitome of Philippians 4:8-9. Like it's what is pure, what is lovely, like all of those things, like is true in Hallmark. I know that makes you mad. You'll have to deal. Sorry.
No, it makes me nauseous.
Well, that's awkward. But like for me, as someone who like tends to be super jumpy in life, like I don't want that in my entertainment most of the time. So like I want something that is easy, all the pieces, like it's predictable because that's safe in a really unsafe world. Like I'll watch the other stuff. Like one of my friends is obsessed with the crime shows. So like I've watched Criminal Minds, like all the things, but like there's a difference in me when I'm watching that versus like the things that are more talked about in Philippians 4:8. So like, for instance, a couple of years ago when I was watching the crime shows, like it was like, I think it was back during COVID. So like people were out walking a lot. And so like there's be times where I like drove up to my house and somebody in the neighborhood was like walking down the street and like I would see them and it was dark and I would freak out. Yeah. Like I would hide in my car until they got close. And then I was like, oh crap, it's them. Like it's fine. And I'd go inside and like would feel super dumb. But like I was more likely to see people as other or like the enemy versus like when I'm not watching stuff like that, like I'm still making good safety decisions as like a single person. So like I promise I'm being safe. But like I'm more likely to see my community as neighbors and people to do community with versus the enemy.
Versus assuming that everybody you shake hands with is a serial killer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, it's like all those crime shows too. You're like, where do they get all these crimes from that they're just making up? Like they're just like outrageous.
Yeah, some real creep out there is writing these scripts.
And you're like, how big is the city that you live in? Like, what?
I wonder if the NSA has like a watch list on all the writers of those shows.
I've been playing a lot of Spider-Man lately, and let me tell you, a lot of different kinds of crime can happen.
Spider Pig. Spider Pig.
Yes. No, that's really good. Was that both of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sick.
Yeah.
Very good. That's awesome. Okay, let's move into Reject. We ready for this? Hey!
Do you need some boxing gloves?
I have multiple things that I can reject.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wait.
I'm not like rose-covered glasses. Hallmark is the best. Like, it's not.
It's
like,
the casting crowns of movies.
What?
No, I think
All
Casting
of
Crowns
their
are a little
songs
bit
sound the
better.
same.
Hold on. Ooh, wait, what?
All
Now
of
you
their
gotta unpack
songs
it.
sound the same.
But come
From
on.
their first album to what they release now, you could put them all like random order.
So does
and you have no-
AC/DC.
The voice of truth tells me a different story.
Oh man!
Fantastic.
Clearly, I've stepped on some toes.
No,
So
you
while
stepped
I'm
on
here-
some crowns.
No, we just needed you to unpack what you meant when you said. I was like, wait, who are you digging right now? You digging Hallmark? You digging Casting Crowns? Is this not a dig? What's happening?
No, like there's nothing necessarily bad about them. It's just,
Gotcha. You
It's
just
a
just
similar experience between.
yes,
Okay. Okay. No, fair. Okay.
because
I can see it.
that's to me. I'm just really bored by really predictable movies. So that's honestly kind of my reject a little bit. But the other part was like, I got zero time to get to know any of the characters in my movie. And to me, and this is not everybody, but to me, I want to know about the characters. I want to know like how I can relate to them. So I come in and like they give the lead actress that like they give her like 2 details about her backstory. Her parents died and she moved from Seattle to Rome. Like that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that's the businessman coming in from town, like that's all you know about him. Nothing else. And then it's like these 2 people fall in love. My thing is like, why? How? Like, yes, I'm seeing it, but like, I don't know. To me, whenever I don't get to see how the characters actually develop and where they come from to versus where they're at, it's kind of like listening to an AI generated song. Like they can hit all the bullets. They can make sure all the details are there. But to me, it's still missing something.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody want to go next? Lizzie, you want to go?
Sure.
Go for it.
Sorry, I had to remember what actually my next one is. Okay. I think the biggest part is they nearly almost always have some level of deception, like as the fundamental plot thing. Like, not always. They've gotten better, I think, at having it be like, oh, this is just like a hard situation. But like, so often it's like, oh, well, like there was this misunderstanding. And instead of like choosing clarity, it's, well, I'm just going to lean into the fact that I guess now I'm a rock star. What? Like, what are you doing? Like, so that I just really reject as not super helpful because we should be choosing clarity and truth and like all those pieces as those that follow Jesus and just hopefully as humans. And also, I don't know if one of y'all was going to say this, but okay, can we get bigger budgets? Like, can they
That's
be
fair.
less bad? Like, can we produce it with excellence? Can we
I
do
don't
it
know.
well? Like,
Look at Napoleon Dynamite.
well, yeah.
They
but
did great on nothing.
it's-
Yeah, I mean that's lightning in a bottle. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, and they're not trying to do like what is it? Hallmark does like 40 movies a year or something crazy on like $2 million. Like,
Yeah.
so they're doing great with their 2 mil, but like that's
Right.
not enough to do it well. So like, can we do it well, guys?
Yeah, I felt like the movie I watched on a similar note. I thought like either budget or just like the dialogue in it, storytelling left something to be desired. Like it was giving us the whole plot, but it was telling us the plot instead of showing us the plot. Was kind of the one that I watched. That was a big critique of it. It was a lot of like pivotal moments were spoken instead of like shown.
And which one did you watch again?
All Saints Christmas.
All Saints.
Yeah. So along a similar line. Yeah.
Was that your reject then? No.
I was just gonna have a staring contest with you.
Okay.
That's fine.
It's really
really
boring
good.
for the people
Yeah,
just
that's
listening.
right.
It's a really good thing to do for a podcast.
For-
To have a staring
While you
contest.
go into your reject, I'll have a staring contest with the audience. Let's do that.
Oh, with the audience, you just
Yep.
stare right into the. All right.
It's gonna be
Look
really
into the
awkward for
void.
those on Spotify.
Spotify is actually video.
Yeah.
I know that's where I listen.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, so here's my main reject. So Jacob said that Hallmark was like Casting Crowns.
The Casting Crowns
right?
of movies.
Okay. My metaphor is Hallmark movies to me are a lot like a Thomas Kinkade painting.
A who?
Thomas Kinkade. You know who Thomas
dat?
Kinkade is? Do you know what Jordan might know what I'm talking about? Either that or his eyes are dead because he's been staring into the light for the last 30 seconds. You're crying. We're talking about Hallmark. You're crying. It's excellent. It's perfect, Jordan.
Thomas who?
Thomas Kinkade.
Kinkade.
Thomas Kinkade is like, it paints like, if you've ever seen like a painting, he's a very famous painter, and it's like a cozy cabin in the woods where everything's perfect and the sky's awesome, and or it's like sunset or sunrise, and there's smoke coming out of the chimney, and it's kind of like he depicts like very perfect, clean scenes, or like like just a perfect world. And I think on the one hand, that's not, I don't, like some people, similarly, probably to Thomas Kinkade as well, Hallmark can be very polarizing. People can either love Hallmark or they can really hate it. And Thomas Kinkade paintings are the same way. And I think for similar reasons. And so my main reject of Hallmark in general is oftentimes I feel like it's not how things are. Like the way that they portray things is as I watch, specifically as a man watching it, I'm watching a lot of really emotionally intelligent men who express their feelings in really healthy ways.
Do
and
they
like,
cry?
or and too much and give all information and, don't have any insecurities and
It's just not just fish pictures on dating apps.
that's right. Yeah. That's not right. Right. But it's this perfect world, right? And forgiveness is easy and people do it all the time and just do it so well. And everyone's mature and can verbally express their feelings vulnerably without like going into fight or flight mode and kind of like all these things that I don't think like they're necessarily bad things. To me, it's just not
realistic.
Yeah. It's not realistic. It's not how things are. And
But
so
I
want-
always talk about my feelings. I tell people I'm fine.
Yeah, you're like the dog in that picture
Everything
with the
is
mug,
fine.
right? Everything's fine as the walls are on fire.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. How are you? I'm fine. Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Yes.
Everything is fine.
Everything's
guys.
fine. Every time I hear that, I'm
Everything
like,
is awesome.
I'm like, ooh.
Except it's not.
So I think just my thought on Hallmark with this specific one is, and this is applicable to not just Hallmark. So I'm not just like, this is only a Hallmark critique. This can be a critique about a lot of the stuff that we've covered on this podcast as well, past movies and other things, is be wary of what you consume and why you consume it. Because I think oftentimes we can run to art, we can run to good things to escape painful things in our life by turning to maybe some different alternatives, some cheap alternatives that will not ultimately satisfy us. And that can be anything. That's not just Hallmark. But that's my concern, is that like staring into a Thomas Kinkade painting, we might use Hallmark or a Thomas Kinkade painting as an escape from the very real pains of our life, whatever's going on in our life. Maybe we have broken relationships. Maybe we're feeling lonely. Maybe we're feeling isolated, right? And we turn to those things instead of turning to Jesus, who ultimately meet those needs. So that's my main beef, I guess, with this movie that I watch and Hallmark in general, is that's kind of the pattern that oftentimes I see.
Can I add a little thing with that too?
You can if you want.
Because I often think that maybe that's how people assume church is. Because how often do you ask somebody at church how they're doing, and the answer is honest? Or even if it's honest in the moment, like an actual like, how are you? Well, I think I'm okay. Like I don't see that much. I think that's a danger in church culture, is keeping it all picture perfect.
Yeah.
And honestly, like maybe that's the goal that we want to achieve, is get to a place where we are emotionally healthy enough that if somebody asks us how we're doing and we're struggling, that we can say, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Like things are not okay. I need someone to talk to. I need some help. I need prayer. I need whatever. But like being willing, like maybe that's the goal. We're just not there yet.
Yeah. Well, because I feel like a lot of that, like that requires a lot of emotional health to be aware of that. Like I feel like most of the time people are like, how are you? And I'm like, I have no idea. Like, am I supposed to know that? Like just off the cuff? Like I need time to prepare and like process like what's happened this month. Like, am I okay?
So you're saying that if I need to ask you how you're doing, I should like text you in advance, like, hey, in 20 minutes, I'm going to ask how you're doing.
Yes.
Please.
And like for real. And if we're at work, you will literally look across and I'll be like, and I'll like reboot.
I just see the
know.
404 screen come up, like error.
100%.
Leslie, I typed your symptoms into
the AOL
into and
internet.
it says you may have a network disconnectivity problems.
Just immediately think of like the AOL internet.
No, that's good.
Like that was one of the biggest parts of therapy. Like it forced me to like actually know once a week of like, oh yeah, I guess like it wasn't a good week.
Yeah.
Like didn't know, guys. Or wow, that person actually was really rude to me. Hadn't processed.
Yeah.
But just taking that moment to actually process, I think, is maybe, It's not like maybe is the message here from what you were talking about. Like it's not going to be picture perfect, and it's not always going to be best in the moment.
Right. But I think like what you're both are talking about, the step of being intentional with that and stepping into that for yourself is really important, because I think it's not just Hallmark, it's a lot of things. Like we can escape from the hard things we're going to, or we can try to numb the pain with things that I don't necessarily think like the things that we try to fill that void with are necessarily bad things. Sometimes they can be, but sometimes I think they can be good things. But when we do that instead of going and finding our true rest in Jesus and our healing and our restoration through him, then it's not a good thing. That's where it becomes an idol, right? Is when we put it above.
Let me tell you, sometimes
Jesus.
those things will let you down. And yes, I'm talking about you, Doctor Who special. It's fine.
That's fine. We just talked about
You
that.
said Doctor Who special, and I thought you said Dr. Seuss special, and I'm like, Jake, please go on about this Dr. Seuss special.
Hey, you
that
know
let
what?
You down.
Before we really get into this, Jordan, I don't think you gave your reject. Let's change.
No, I didn't.
Let's change
No,
topics
okay.
here, so I don't have to unpack this.
Okay. I mean, you guys kind of all touched on everything I said, so I'm just going to kind of read verbatim the 3 things that I wrote.
Do it.
Okay, real quick. 1, Hallmark movies are emotional porn, profiting off of unrealistic expectations at the cost of malforming its viewers. Number 2, Hallmark movies are bad art designed for maximum profit at minimum risk. The writing, acting, and story are intentionally cliche and predictable as to offer no surprises and feel safe. It is art that acts as a pacifier rather than true sustenance. It offers fantasy fulfillment rather than granting perspective. It is lazy writing for lazy watching. It's junk food for the mind and heart. There's no growth in their characters, no realistic development, no believable conflict, no lasting consequences. It only serves as escapism from those very things we face in our own lives. 3, and this is the thing that nobody touched on.
That wasn't all 3?
No.
My eyebrows are singed over here right now.
Number 3.
Wow.
Hallmark. And this is one that like kind of slips past us, I think. Hallmark, like every other entertainment and consumer enterprise in the United States, hijacks Christmas to serve its own agenda.
Oof.
And
That's a good point there, Jordan.
yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Redeemed.
If anybody has a comment, you can always email us at admin@propcr.org. And
Or you can just get at us in the DMs. We're on Instagram.
we can also give Jordan's address if you want to like go egg his house.
It's okay, I won't be living there much longer.
Do you have a license to use that flamethrower?
Oh gosh.
No, does anybody want to respond to any
that
of
was spicy.
or add on top of it? I'm gonna give space to.
Ooh.
Let's just give
Yeah,
our
it's good.
listeners
Thank you.
like chance to
No,
let
thank
that
you.
all soak in.
Rewind a minute and a half. Hit play.
I feel like I need that in writing just to engage with
Yeah,
it.
you
Like,
can just read it. You can
sure. I feel like I need to do exegesis.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Sometimes I'll respond to one of those points. I think sometimes as a man, it can feel like the men that are portrayed in Hallmark are not real. Like,
Yeah.
they
have no personality.
or just are perfect. And I'm like, or either are perfect or are like the perfect representation of maybe what women would really want their man to be. I don't know. That's just how, like when you talked about the emotional porn aspect of it.
Yeah.
A lot of times I feel like as I watch the movie, I'm like, yeah, I'm not like nearly as, in touch with my either feelings or like as expressive with my emotions as this dude is. And I don't know a whole lot of guys who are that way,
Yeah.
I don't know if that guy exists. So in that way, I see where you're coming from with the
Jesus.
Well, and even with that, when I was a kid, like I would see these kinds of movies, and that's what I'm like, oh, that's the kind of guy that I need to be, because that's clearly the kind of guy that women want. So I'm like, oh, I need to be this super emotionally intelligent guy who's like perfect in all these different ways. And so like I spent a long time trying to be that and constantly being frustrated with never living up to that.
Well, because
And
you're not
even when
that. You're Jordan.
But even when I like did my best to like be that Hollywood guy, I was gonna say Hollywood.
Hallmark.
When I tried
Hallmark.
when I tried my best and got as close as I can to be that Hallmark guy, it turns out that's actually not what women wanted or needed.
Oof.
Gotcha.
Which is why I honestly that's a good way to describe it as emotional porn. Because it's something that people are then trained to think they want.
Exactly.
But then whenever they actually get it, it's not what they need.
Right.
Lizzie, you have any thoughts on any of this?
There's so many like strings.
I
and
know,
I can't even so I'm trying to be like, which part do I address or do I respond to?
You can respond to or address maybe one or two things you have time for.
Yeah, I was like, there's so much.
I know.
I really initially just wanted to respond and like, yeah, like 100%. Yeah. Correct, Jordan.
Thank you.
But I think there's also a piece of like when women, at least most, I think at least normally at least semi-healthy women aren't looking at Hallmark and be like, oh, that's the man. Like they aren't really watching the man, they're watching the girl engage with life. Like,
Gotcha.
Because it's one of the genres where women actually are the main character.
Right.
So like they're watching them, and like honestly, out of the 5 movies I watched for this, I remember very little about any of those men, like in any of them. Sorry, I'm sure they were great or perfect, like whatever. But like I think the main audience that's women is primarily watching the women. And like, yeah, okay, there's a cute guy or off-brand whoever, like, because let's be real, it's off-brand. But like you're watching those people, but it's really okay, they care about them, they're nice, they're not jerks. Like that's really what they're seeing. I think it's less, and like, yeah, the
Sets
emotional.
the bar pretty low.
Well, I don't know. Some guys, that's a pretty high bar.
As someone who's been on the dating apps, guys, you'd think it's a low bar. The things that have slid into my DMs are terrifying.
Yeah.
I have so many regrets. Okay, the other part for the bad art dynamic, yes, like it's not done well, but also I think I would maybe poke at the word bad because it's doing what it's designed to do. Like if I'm watching a Hallmark movie, I'm not going for this like masterpiece of entertainment. I'm going for something clean, easy, and where I know the end's going to be good. Because we live in a really scary world, guys, with a lot of uncertainty. Like, I don't want a bunch of jump scares. Like, I want something that I can phase out or 5 minutes in and be like, okay, this is how it's going to end. And it's entertaining my ADHD brain for the next hour and a half. Like,
So yeah, because you're saying the results of the system is exactly what the system is built to get.
100%.
You have a bad system, you get bad results. You have a good system, you get good results. And they built their system of Hallmark movies knowing that that's what they were going to get. And so technically, by those standards, they're good movies.
Well, I don't think
that's where what she's
By the
saying.
standard of they want a system that will just give people something to watch without it being super high quality and super high interest. It's just they make movies.
Well, it's meeting the need. Like,
It's
meeting the need because you don't actually want to watch the same movie 100 times.
It's like dollar store bread. You can mass produce
so many metaphors in this episode.
So many weird metaphors.
You can mass produce it and you can get a lot of it. And like what's actually in it is questionable, but it does like, but it feeds people that need it, that need to eat bread. And like, there is some, I think people can watch and enjoy Hallmark movies in a really healthy way. But I mean, even back to what one of your original points about like the budget and the, how come there aren't any, and honestly, I feel like sometimes the budget is probably going to, having one really good actor and then locations. Cause like the movie I watched had Melissa Joan Hart, and I'm like, she was genuinely the best part of the film. Anytime she was on screen, I actually wanted to keep watching.
Is there anything else that she's in? Cause you keep saying the name and I got no clue.
She was in Melissa and Joey. She was also in,
she was in a lot of stuff there for a bit.
Yeah, she was.
Okay, I'll
ABC
just have to
Family.
Google her
She was really popular on ABC Family specifically, which Hallmark. it all comes together. But with that, with that art aspect, I think, and I get frustrated with music a lot of the times the same way. I get frustrated when there's a lot of music that's made because that's what people get used to watching or used to listening to. And it's like, well, this is Easy for me. I don't have to dive too much into it, and I worry about how I worry about people's engagement with art. Because we can be trained to engage with art in different ways. I've been trained to engage with music in a way where I'm listening to a lot of different aspects really deeply. I'm listening to what the guitars are doing in a really specific part. I'm listening to the melodies. I'm listening to the rhythms. I'm listening to the lyrics. I listen and I analyze, but like even like I go into the lyrics and I analyze that. And the lyrics impact me. They change me. And I want the same things out of the majority of the movies that I watch.
I see where you're going with this.
So when I have an album that somebody gives me, and it's like, hey, you should check out this band or this album. And I listen to it, and all the songs are the same. And all the riffs are just boring and lost in the mix or whatever. And all the lyrics are kind of pointless or cheesy or not really saying and doing anything. It's like, all right, you did the hard, like you showed that you're able to do this stuff, but you didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of potential that's wasted. And there's a lot of like really good stories that could be told with Hallmark and a lot of really good things that could happen and a lot of great formation that is being wasted and it's like a missed opportunity.
Gotcha.
But that's my soapbox. Let's go on to Redeem.
Yeah.
Lizzie's the guest. Let's give her the last word of the reject segment.
Oh.
Would you like a final word?
Sure. I think one
Tomato.
thing to keep in mind. You're ridiculous.
Boo.
You said final word.
Lizzie. I said Lizzie gets the
Say
final
tomato.
It's
word.
not about you.
Say tomato.
It's not about you, Jake. It's
about
my
Jesus.
choice. Well,
Jacob does
obviously.
think he's a female pop star, so that also is a thing. So
Apparently a female pop star named Lizzie.
McGuire? Oh,
I love that movie.
you can tell I had a younger sister. Okay. Lizzie,
love it.
final word of the reject segment.
One piece just add into this context, I guess, is so every year they have a couple like big movies, like that's their Avengers or whatever. None of these were that version. So like there are ones that are better, like, and also different industries. Netflix has a ton, like its own subgenre of Hallmark type movies now. Those ones are way better. Like they're super fun. If you guys want to watch them, we can watch them.
Very good.
Maybe
And if you want
next
the
year.
opposite experience, go watch A Royal Christmas Ball.
I will now.
Tired. I wouldn't.
It's no, yeah, no, look,
No,
it's the
actually,
Sharknado of shark movies. You don't watch it because it's a good movie. You watch it
I don't know.
because
Have
it's
you
a bad
seen?
movie.
Have you seen Mega Piranha?
have you seen Christian Mingle?
Oh.
I've heard of it.
I know about it. I've seen a review of it. Yeah.
It's exceptionally terrible. I've watched it 3 times. Like it's the one you watch just because it's awful and you're like, it'll be great.
Watching a car accident.
Or a train wreck. Yeah.
Facts.
Facts.
Was that your actual point? I'm sorry, I took that away from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Redeem. The namesake of the pod. Here we go. What do we redeem about Hallmark, or what from Hallmark is a way that we can build a bridge to engaging with culture with the message of the gospel? So who wants to start us on the Redeem train?
I'll give this,
Jacob.
especially just with around the Christmas season, and I see it in the Hallmark movies. It's something worth pointing out that consumerism may still have a very strong like stranglehold on the Christmas season. However, they can't. I've yet to see the consumerism of the Christmas season get to where people are just buying for themselves. So even with Hallmark. Even with all the Christmas season, I rejoice, or I love that this is a time of year that people naturally think about others. I think it's good to have that yearly reminder, because it's also a call to the church to do that the other rest of the year.
Yeah. Word.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want to go next?
Sure.
All right.
So Hallmark movies are a mirror. An opportunity to examine ourselves, what we really believe, and what we really desire. It can be used as a radar to help us gauge what's really going on inside ourselves. It can show us our own desire for family, for relationship, for opportunity, for possessions, as well as our own jadedness, skepticism, jealousy, and apathy.
Oof. Did you just flip the script on us? That's not cool, bro.
Again, it's a mirror. And art should be a mirror. It should be showing us what's inside of us. And in that regard, Hallmark does that really well because it forces you to either want something or to get really sick of something because you see that that's not accurate to real life. And in those moments, when we are faced with that, it's a prime opportunity for us to turn to the Lord and say, this is what I have inside of me. What do I do with this?
Yeah.
You know, I like that because it's mirrors that really cause us to want to change. You know, like physically we look in a mirror and maybe our hair's out of whack and we need to fix it. Maybe we see the little extra curves that you may not want or, you know, just stuff like that. Maybe you have something in your teeth. It's the mirror that makes us want to change. When we address ourselves, we see what we want to be different. Because I even thanks for calling me out, Jordan.
I call all
makes
three
me
of us
address
out.
my own cynicism when it comes to this time of year. I tend to be a Grinch and a bah humbug, but maybe that's worth actually addressing. Why do I get so grumpy around this time of year? And it's probably more than just the fact that like Christmas takes over my job as a worship leader. There's probably something else down there, but it's good to at least address it and look at it so I can process that later, not on the podcast.
Hey, Jacob.
What?
I just want to tell you, happy Tuesday. Christmas is coming.
I hate you.
Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming.
It's always coming.
It's coming for you.
It'll be back next year, too. Okay. Also, I don't know why you thought that Jordan was talking to you because he stared me directly in my face when he was like cynicism and stuff like that. He's like looking at me like...
It's because he can't look at both of us.
Peering into my soul.
I felt like I was like intruding on a moment. Not really sure what's happening. It's a little uncomfortable.
Right.
It's a bunch of white guys with
As we've talked, as we've referenced multiple times in this podcast, you got to have friends around you who will tell you the good and the bad about you.
pop.
That's right. Pop.
I only know this about you because it's worse than me.
It's like sanctification happens in community.
What?
Weird.
What a concept.
Pop off.
What kind of podcast do you think this is?
That's right.
This one.
This is just a movie review podcast. What are you talking about?
This is just movie review pasta.
It's
Yeah.
It's an impasta.
And pasta.
What? All right, I'll do my redeem so that Lizzie can go last and put the exclamation point on it. Here you go. All right.
it.
My redeem.
Put the Christmas star.
Pop off.
Gosh. There's more than just Christmas Hallmark movie, guys.
There are.
I don't have a Christmas
true.
star.
The
I have
fall
a
ones are the
Christmas
best.
Star Wars helmet on my Christmas tree.
Star of wonder, star of light, star of royal.
Why?
beauty,
Say good night.
Westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect
This is just the episode where we just
light.
leave you
I almost
hanging,
said holy
isn't it?
light, but I knew it was perfect light.
This is just the episode where we keep
Star
leaving you.
of-
Nope,
no, just
stop
kidding.
it.
There's a lot of serenade.
Okay, redeem. What
happens
is
every
so
episode.
attractive to people about Hallmark? Question mark. I think a big piece of it is it's the happily ever after of a romantic relationship that was doomed, but ultimately became restored and succeeded. Does that remind you of anything, believers?
I'm sorry. Maybe you want to say that again for them in the back.
Does that remind you of anything? Right? The happily ever after of a relationship, but in Hallmark, it's a romantic relationship that was doomed, but ultimately became restored. That's the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Enough said.
That's the gospel, right? Christ as the bridegroom, the church as the bride. Christ came into the world to redeem what was broken so that in the end of all times, right, that we, the church, will be united with Christ in a wedding feast. We look at Revelation chapter 19, verses 6 through 10. Then I heard what sounded like a great multitude, the roar of rushing waters and like loud pearls of thunder shouting, hallelujah, for our God Almighty reigns. Let us rejoice and be glad and give him glory. For the wedding of the Lamb has come, and his bride has made herself ready. Fine linen, bright and clean, was given her to wear. And in parentheses, fine linen stands for the righteous acts of God's holy people. In parentheses. Then the angel said to me, write this, blessed are those who are invited to the wedding supper of the Lamb. And he added, these are the true words of God. This is the good news. So
Yeah.
I want to take that part of Hallmark and say, yeah, that is a good longing to see what is broken or what is perceived as doomed to be restored and to be made whole again. I think that is something that we can definitely tie in to the gospel. So,
Do you think it's a potluck? And if so, which denomination is just bringing a bucket of fried chicken?
I got nothing to say.
These are important questions.
These are important questions.
Whatever
I was like,
denomination
you
it
just
is,
don't want to get
is-
fired.
whatever denomination it is, I want to be a part of that one.
Yeah, me too.
Do you think it'll be wine or juice? Okay,
Yes.
moving on.
Nobody wants to get fired today.
I can say whatever I want because I'm not employed by a church.
That's about to be a short right there.
It was like,
Just Jordan and I just dancing over here. Hey.
oh my gosh. You look like the computer generated like character.
I am computer generated.
Okay.
My mom was a computer. She went beep. If you know that reference, we should be friends.
That means we shouldn't be friends, Jordan, because I don't get it.
Well, it's
No,
not
no.
it's not an either or. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the
Okay. I feel
can still
better.
be friends.
I feel more secure in my
It's a
friendship.
new invitation.
it's right.
Actually, that's an invitation for me to introduce you
I feel
to
like
the
that
show.
should be a segment for Jordan is Jordan's deep cut of the week. Because it's like every episode he's like, have you got that reference? And Jacob and I are like looking at him like,
Nope.
nope. Not sure anybody got that reference.
Here, I'll throw another one at you.
You better
That's
have,
just for
you
those
better have the
watchers.
video on to get that one. If you're like
I
silence.
got nothing.
Okay,
Yep.
so that's my redeem. Lizzie, bring us home.
Take us to church.
So mine was super similar to that. So I'm just going to pull a Jordan and read it.
Yes.
Personally, I redeem that they all end well and predictably. As a follower of Jesus, the most comforting thing for me is that I can have confidence that the Lord will redeem and restore all things. Not that it'll be clean or easy, because it won't. We don't get special treatment. We will experience heartbreak and pain. However, I know that in the end, the guy, Jesus, gets the girl, the church. Done.
Nailed it.
Nope, wrong way.
Oh, come on, man. You got to do our guest dirty like that.
No, no.
we were
Now you have to.
Unbelievable.
Now you have to do the trumpet. Do the trumpet. Yep. Feel your shame.
I'm still the biblically illiterate swine, so
The shameful biblically illiterate slide. I'm kidding.
darn you, Taylor Swift.
You're just mad you lost.
Is it Taylor Swift or is it the message?
It's the message. And it's Taylor Swift.
It's
Well,
both. He's
you
just
probably
salty.
don't want to have a
The message of Taylor Swift.
the message.
Message in a bottle.
What?
Isn't that a Taylor Swift song?
Heart
Is
in a
it?
box.
I don't know.
I think it is.
Probably.
He says to a room that of not Taylor Swift fans.
I'm Googling it.
Although I will say, since we did that
Because
those episodes,
yeah, message in a bottle. Yeah.
since
Yeah.
we did those episodes, if Taylor Swift comes on the radio or like my DJ acts, I don't swipe to the next song.
Wow.
Big move.
So
Wow.
Growth.
that is called a
Marketing.
word.
Peer
that I forgot.
pressure?
Yes.
Look
yes.
what you made
Guerrilla
me do.
guerrilla marketing.
Look what you made me do. Look what
That-
you
there we
made
go.
me. Look what
That
you
is called
just
formation.
made me do.
Thank you.
You are being formed into a Swiftie.
No, that will never actually happen.
Don't be
Watch.
the anti-hero.
A couple years from now.
Wow, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
I'm the problem. It's me.
A couple years from now, we're gonna listen back to this, and Jake's gonna be decked out in full
In
Taylor
bedazzled.
Swift gear, in bedazzled Taylor Swift gear.
Dazzle.
His next Chiefs gear is just gonna be that I'm with Taylor's boyfriend. That's the one I want so bad.
Wait, is this
That's
a thing
awesome.
that exists?
Yes. Like you can buy Taylor's
goodness gracious.
like Kelsey Taylor merch. It's a whole thing.
Okay, if the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl this year,
Oh, wait. What? Finish that statement.
if the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl this year, we all buy those shirts and all wear them on Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh,
And then
no.
share a picture on our social media.
Oh no.
Or what if your next short of this got like 4,000 or 5,000 views?
Nope, that's
then you'll
not
do
happening.
it for the next game.
That's right. There you go.
I don't know if I'm willing to go that far.
If we get enough views that we can make money off of it and go pay for the shirts with that money.
There
then
we go.
Okay, let's not be crazy, guys.
I like that.
There we go.
That
Spotify
deal.
monetization is not great.
I like that deal.
So Taylor, come sponsor us and we'll wear your shirts.
Taylor, if you're
Yeah.
listening, you're a better songwriter than all three of us combined. So don't.
But also
Don't take
you
us too
should
seriously.
you should like, comment, and share this podcast with your friends.
Yeah, not just the Taylor Swift podcast that we did last time. You're like, is this turning into another Taylor Swift podcast? No, it's not. It's Hallmark, and we're wrapping it up. Thanks for listening to our crazy Hallmark episode 1. Thanks to Lizzie coming on the show.
Oh, I got.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Way to save the day.
Thank you for bringing a different perspective. It was helpful for me. So hopefully, audience, you found it helpful to have someone who has more of a positive view instead of just us 3 trolls over here going at it.
Real troll who lives under the bridge.
Just a bunch of grumps. Just a bunch of grumps. How can people respond to the show? Again, we talked about it, right? You can do all the verbs. Like, follow, subscribe.
Scream it from the rooftops.
And that's one every time. I don't know who's on the roof. I've never seen somebody on my roof unless they're just doing my roof. We should just hop on somebody's roof and just start yelling.
Yes. If you like it, tell your friends. If you really like it, tell your enemies.
If you,
Go get Pop Culture Redemption!
I just imagine somebody like
Do it today! Sorry,
trying to tell
Jordan.
their, no, it's all right. I'm just imagining somebody like, yeah, I know exactly who my enemies are, and I'm gonna go up to them and be like, hey, you should listen to pop. Like, it's just a weird concept.
Okay, hold on. Be like, hey, I know we haven't talked in 15 years, but
Hey.
there's this podcast I think you need to check out.
If you haven't talked to your enemies in 15 years, guess what? They're not an enemy.
I'm the
They're a
problem, it's
mental.
me.
They're a mental issue. That's called counseling topics.
Just treat it like a multi-level marketing pyramid. You're like, hey, girlie, how's your life? Your pictures are so cute. Have you listened to this podcast?
That's exactly
If
right.
you do that, we'll give you a free shirt.
Top
It's
level.
not a pyramid scheme. See, hold on. One person, I get 2 more people. That person gets 2 more people, and that person gets 2 more people. Triangle around it. I gotta make a call. All right, check out our YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to contact the show, you can either get at us on Instagram, or you can always email us in at admin@popcr.org. I don't know if we have a poll for today's episode, but if we
No,
do,
just go check out our social
fill
media.
it out. And if we don't, then don't fill it out because it doesn't exist.
If you check out our social media, there might be some links to merch,
Merchy.
t-shirts.
T-shirts.
You guys should check it out.
Check.
And maybe, just maybe, because I feel like it, we might even post Jake's personal music. So you can go and listen to
What?
Jake's music. I don't know. Why not?
Or Connor's music.
Or Connor's music. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like right there. You don't know what's it.
That was track number 1.
It's called Existential Crisis. Okay. Until next time, remember, God is working in pop culture and even in Hallmark. Pop.
Bye-bye.